Hello beautiful people, it's Mai here from Nintendo Life, and today we're reviewing Disney Dreamlight Valley Nintendo Switch 2 edition on the Nintendo Switch 2. This review was originally written by yours truly and made into video by yours truly. Now without further ado, let's get stuck in. Since its somewhat rocky release on Switch back in 2022, Disney Dreamlight Valley has redeemed itself through several updates and a plethora of DLCs, which can make any Disney fan happy. You see, I originally played the game on the Xbox One during early access, when the game used to be free to play, but full of performance issues. When Gameloft later announced that they'd be charging for the game, unsurprising in my opinion, and with the reports of poor optimization even on the Switch, I knew it'd be extremely unlikely I'd ever pick the game up again. However, after news on the Switch 2 upgrade and a momentary bout of sickness, I decided to give it another crack in hopes that it would change my mind. Disney Dreamlight Valley Nintendo Switch 2 edition has finally hit the eShop, promising magical improvements, and I've been wishing, perhaps upon a star, that it keeps that promise. For those unfamiliar with Disney Dreamlight Valley, you play as the ruler, who seemingly just appears in Dreamlight Valley, a dark and dreary village and once a magical place filled with familiar Disney characters, but now succumbed to the forgetting, which, as the name suggests, caused everyone to forget and disappear. With some help from Merlin and other Disney friends, you must restore the valley and uncover the mystery of the forgetting. If you're looking for a broader overview, you can check out our other review, which covers the basics as they were in 2022. Otherwise, the gameplay is your bog standard life sim with decorating, farming, and social elements which can easily be mistaken as a Disney-skinned Animal Crossing. However, I've always felt there's something more magical about Dreamlight Valley sparkling beneath the surface. It can be overwhelming at times, but much like any other cozy game, you'll have duties or quests to fulfill, and Dreamlight Valley is no different. You'll have daily goals known as Dreamlight duties, which reward Dreamlight, a form of magical points, allowing you to unlock more biomes to explore, character realms, items to craft, and of course, storage upgrades. But it doesn't stop there. You can gain more Dreamlight from just playing the game. Anything from foraging, cooking, and forming friendships with villagers gain you Dreamlight and level your character up in the process. Leveling up helps you unlock special items and increase your max energy level. Yes, there's an energy bar, which in the early game is frustrating and tiresome, but can be quickly rectified through foraging, resting in your home, and cooking later on. Forming friendships is also quite important, as each character can hang out with you, and depending on which skill you've assigned them, they can give you a hangout bonus. Whilst each character levels up during hangouts, you can unlock special items or clothing along with quests you wouldn't be able to access otherwise. Disney Dreamlight Valley also offers events in the form of Star Paths, limited time promotions offering exclusive items through completing quests, or purchasing tokens with Moonstones, the game's form of microtransactions. I've never personally purchased any Moonstones, as I'm happy to grind away during quests and prefer not to spend my real world money, so these are obviously optional. As the game has a real-time clock, there are often quests that require you to wait a couple of days before you can progress, so I'd often keep myself busy with shorter quests or gardening to earn the extra coins and pass the time. As tempting as it would be to spend my real-life money on an imaginary currency for a pretty dress or to complete a quest, I get more gratification pulling carrots from the ground to sell at Goofy Stall and seeing those coins pile up. Perhaps I am more like Scrooge McDuck than I thought. You can also unlock more characters through the use of realms found in the Dream Castle, a huge central hub housing 13 realm doors, with more available to unlock in future updates and DLCs. The latter already amassing many more hours of content, as well as more Disney pals to join the valley. Compared to when the game was initially released, it has evolved into a different experience. From focusing on merely designing, building the world, and exploring the story, it's now expanded into a world of premium paid content and a catch-em-all mentality. Like any game, there are bound to be tweaks and improvements along the way. Since 2022, Gameloft added Dream Teams, a multiplayer feature, as a way of connecting with other players in private communities where you can help each other with resource requests, follow each other's progress, and even contribute to a social feed within the team. You can also visit other team members' valleys through Dream Teams. So I've played a lot of Dreamlight Valley, so I'm quite familiar with the state of the game before and after the free upgrade. Upon booting up on Switch 2, I really wasn't expecting much. Even the promise of improved loading times, enhanced resolution, a smoother frame rate of up to 60 FPS, and double the amount of item storage, now up to 6,000, I still had my doubts. I was sorely mistaken though. What used to feel a bit of a crunchy mess became a crisp and, dare I say, gorgeous sight to see. I quickly noted the sharper character details, less erratic camera maneuvering, and less stuttering in frames. Plus, the outside lighting, especially at sunset, is an obvious improvement compared to the Switch 1 version. I wouldn't say the technical improvements have been 100% successful though, as the more I played, I found minor frame drops in both docked and handheld, which were pretty obvious when it was raining and in busier areas like the Plaza or Forest of Valor. I also found the random pop-in of buildings or items from time to time, which isn't a huge distraction considering the state of the game that was at launch, but still somewhat disappointing. On the plus side, I can now move around the menus with ease and no longer need to make a cup of tea during the painfully long loading times. Unfortunately, some bugs were not fixed for me in the upgrade. This included a strange issue where the screen would continuously flash until loading up the main menu, something I hope wasn't present for those with light sensitivity. And another where I'd be trapped while cooking, unable to complete the dish, remove ingredients, or even leave. This would mean having to fully close the game and hoping it had auto-saved. Whilst the Switch 2 edition has fulfilled most of its promises and fixed some bugs, I can't help but feel somewhat disappointed that it took this long to fix on Nintendo platforms. With no other new features such as mouse mode for building and decorating, it's a little bit underwhelming. Saying that, DDV looks stunning on Switch 2, and compared to when the game originally launched on Switch 1, this can be considered, finally, the full release version. We here at Nintendo Life give Disney Dreamlight Valley Nintendo Switch 2 Edition a 7 out of 10. Whilst this would usually be the part where I give my thoughts, it's going to be a little bit different considering I wrote the review today. I suppose this is more of a extra bits and bobs I didn't get to include in the review. As a whole, I really think that Disney Dreamlight Valley is an excellent game, but I did have to give it a slightly lower score, mostly because of the, even though it's been updated with the lovely new graphics and the usually less than 60 FPS and slightly frame drops, I did have to put it down mostly because of the bugs. And I think that many people would probably agree with me, if I'm honest. I was very disappointed. Initially, when I loaded up the game, I thought, oh, this is brilliant, it looks gorgeous, it's running really beautifully smooth. I'd even, the day before the new edition came out, I made sure that I used my Switch 1 and my Nintendo Switch 2 to compare to see if there was really much difference between the Switch 1 edition on both consoles. I was very disappointed when I played more of the game. The fact that I'd be running around thinking, oh, this is going to be this is the ultimate version of the game. But no. Why was there stuttering? Why was there's still having the bugs stuck in there where I'd have to completely just hard reset the game? Not a very happy chappy. And it really stopped the flow of the game for me as well. I didn't really care too much about the pop-ins, like I said in the review, with the items and the buildings, but I was hoping this was something that could have been fixed with the Switch 2 edition. My biggest qualm was the fact that there was no mouse mode, but that's something that we knew already that wasn't going to be included in this. I personally don't like the decorating and building mode in Disney Dreamlight Valley because I've always found it quite finicky. I have played it briefly on PC via the Game Pass and everything back in the day, and I just always found building using the mouse for decorating so much easier. I just think that you can be more precise and more free flow, whereas using a controller with it, it's just I could rant about my complete disdain for the controller mode on the Switch using for decorating, considering that I don't really use mouse mode for any other games, like Pocopia, for example. I don't really use the mouse mode. I find it uncomfortable. But yeah, there was a lot of ups and downs with this and kind of disappointments. However, saying that, like I said in my review, playing the original game is completely different to how it is today. I suppose my main advice for anyone jumping into Disney Dreamlight Valley for the first time, or who's jumping in like myself after many years of leaving the game a little bit dormant, is literally just take your time. Don't worry about the DLCs, even though I have the Rift in Time DLC. I mostly focus on the main storyline and the main aspects rather than the extra bells and whistles that you can buy. I only got the game and I only got the DLCs because they were on sale. So I would say just have a routine and take your time with it. There are so many quests to keep you busy in the main game that you don't really need to have any of the other expansions in order to have a good time. And if you're anything like me, follow the guides and they help, and try and unlock all the areas. You're going to be spending a lot of time playing this game and you haven't even made much progress, which could be a good thing and a bad thing. I have played well over 40 hours, maybe nearly 50 hours. Most of that was in like the first weekend that I had the game when I was sick. And even then I haven't really progressed a crazy amount. I have a few areas that I've opened, however, I'm still grinding away to get to another area purely because I want to make more money in the game and be able to upgrade some more of my stalls and whatnot. So yeah, I've even barely touched the surface and I've been playing for a very long time. So for now, I guess if you need me, I'll be running around Dreamlight Valley just pulling up okra and pulling up carrots and trying to earn my money. Watch out, Scrooge McDuck. I'm coming for you.